What did you say? I thought it was. I don't know.
All right. Thank you all. Welcome, everyone, to the 2023 Alzheimer's Association Purple Lighting Ceremony. My name is Alex Anderson, and I have the privilege of serving as the Vice President of Public Policy for the Alzheimer's Association here in Florida. And good evening, advocates. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all for who are joining us here in Tallahassee and all who are across the state streaming live. Thank you to our elected officials who are joining us in solidarity this evening. We appreciate your support. We also want to recognize and thank the Department of Elder Affairs who sponsored this lighting event. Thank you for your continued support. We have a great program this evening while we light the old historic Capitol purple to raise awareness for the more than 580,000 Floridians living with Alzheimer's disease and their caregivers. You will hear this evening from many individuals making a difference and moving the needle forward in Alzheimer's policy. With Florida having the second highest prevalence of Alzheimer's, it is imperative we have policies that support those living with the disease and their families and strengthen our current infrastructure for the rise of cases projected in just the next few years. The Alzheimer's Association's 2023 platform works to create baseline dementia training standards in long-term care facilities, expand Alzheimer's awareness through a public health campaign, increase funding for programs that provide critical support services, and enhance groundbreaking research in our state. I am honored to introduce our first guest speaker, Secretary Michelle Branham. Before her appointment at the Department of Elder Affairs, she served as our Vice President of Public Policy at the Alzheimer's Association. Under Secretary Branham's leadership, the department serves Florida's 6 million seniors over the age of 60, providing services and support initiatives through Florida's Aging Network to help seniors live well and age well in the state. Secretary Branham is a true advocate for those living with dementia. We are fortunate to have her leading us in this role. Please welcome Secretary for the Department of Elder Affairs, Michelle Branham.
Down to my level. I really could get choked up just standing here looking at all of you and thinking about what it was like to work with all of you for 10 years, doing what you do. It's inspired me every day. When people ask me why I work for the Alzheimer's Association and why I have such a passion and a privilege to work as your Secretary of Elder Affairs, I think about all the people that I first started off with at the Alzheimer's Association almost 10 years ago. And it's all of you in the Capitol every day, in offices, telling your stories, sharing your hopes, sharing your pain, sharing your frustrations and your sorrows and your fears and all the things that I saw and heard every day. And I am powered by that, folks. Each and every day, powered by the things that you do. I'm humbled by them. I'm grateful for them. They inspire me and move me every single day in the work that I do here at Elder Affairs and the work that I did at the Alzheimer's Association. And I say it a lot. It is in my DNA, so it can never leave me. And I continue the passion on honor the spaces and places that we've been together in DC, here in Tallahassee, and across the state of Florida. And I just want to tell you that I'm so honored by all of you here tonight, and a privilege to continue the work from the Department of Elder Affairs in partnership with the Alzheimer's Association. So I apologize to Sarah because I haven't gotten my notes yet, but I will. I just want to say every time I step up to the Capitol, it's turned purple, I cry. And if you're like me, you cry a little bit too, thinking about the people that we're advocating for, the passions that we feel, the responsibility that we have to create a better future than the one that we have today. And the courage that it takes for all of you to do that, knowing that the future that we have right now may not work for you. It may not work for me, but it's going to work for people that come behind us. And that courage and that commitment and that passion that you do every day as a volunteer is something that I'm so humbled by. I'm so grateful for. So I'm just going to take a minute to get a little choked up on you. I want to extend my gratitude to the Alzheimer's Association, to my former boss, who I still call boss, Angela McCauley, for all the inspiration and guidance and leadership she gave me, to the Alzheimer's Association for continuing the mission and doing what they do so well across the nation. Of course, I'm most proud of what we do here in Florida, right? I'm not competitive or anything, but I think we do it best in Florida. Yeah. I also wanted to thank the governor and the First Lady for all of the privilege and the honor that I have to serve as Secretary of Elder Affairs, to advance the work that we have for Alzheimer's and dementia here in Florida, and for the commitment that the governor and the First Lady have given to us. And I'm looking at Dr. Jonathan Weiss, who's the chairman of our Alzheimer's Disease Advisory Committee, and his leadership and all the research and work that his group does each and every day, and the passion that he puts into it. Dr. Jonathan Gonzalez, who's also here, and the passion and commitment he puts as a primary care provider each and every day. Our dementia director, where we were one of only 8 states that had a dementia director, and I had a certain person in mind when we wrote the legislation years ago, and that's Carrie Eyre. And I'm so privileged and honored to serve with her each and every day, and the work and innovation and imagination that she puts behind everything she does. And of course, the advocacy team and the volunteers. Caring for seniors in one way or another has been, of course, my life's work and passion. A passion that through my work at the Alzheimer's Association prepared my heart to continue serving seniors in the role that I play today. We marked the 30th anniversary of the department, so I got to come on board as secretary, 30-year anniversary, and we celebrated for a hot minute. But what I really wanted to do was get out there in the field and learn from all of you, all of the seniors, learn from all the spaces and places that we have all over Florida, things that we did great, things that we needed to improve. And after about a year, we've got a lot of good work to put ahead for us for this year to come. So I considered that year the year of evaluation. I'm going to rock with that for just a minute. I'll let that go. That year of evaluation taught me about the year that I want for this year, which is implementation. And we work with amazing champions, not only with the governor and the First Lady, but with legislators that are so compassionate, so passionate, so energized, and so capable of taking these things to the next step. And I'm grateful for Representative Salzman, who inspires me every day and cheerleads me. Representative Black, who is carrying legislation this year. And I'm so grateful for that work too, and getting to know him. And for all the people in the legislature that when I first started, we had to explain what Alzheimer's disease was. We had to really sit down and think about that. And now I don't have to explain it all. And I know you don't either. You all are shaking your heads, because these legislators, these champions, they have their own stories. And I can't believe this, but somebody just pulled up with a beautiful baby. Representative Clayton, could you just hold her up kind of like Mufasa style for just a minute? Just want to see. Okay. So Representative Clayton, who, if you've been here with me, he's been a part of, oh my goodness gracious, Tracy. Look at that beauty. One of the first people that I got to champion with. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. So there's the next legacy, folks. But Representative Clayton, his wife Susie, was diagnosed when I first started with the Alzheimer's Association, and he has carried the water, carried the legislation, Brain Bus, which we are carrying in the Department of Elder Affairs, and the governor's recommendations. I'll get through this, I swear. But we just talked about that in the governor's recommendations. That Brain Bus is something that Representative Clayton, Representative Salzman, and amazing legislators have always championed and cared for. And I'm prepared now to take it on for you and continue to carry on that good work that the Brain Bus does. 67 counties, and we'll continue to enhance the work that it's doing. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to put that in our recommendations and carry that forward this year. Another thing I just wanted to share with you is the First Lady's Hope Florida initiative. So all of you are great volunteers, and I learned how to volunteer through each and every one of you. The First Lady came to us. She had a Hope Florida initiative. It was the Pathway to Prosperity at the Department of Children and Families. But when she came to Elder Affairs, I really felt like ours was a pathway to purpose. So we sort of changed the paradigm there with how we envisioned Hope Florida, and we started to work with our volunteers, and those Hope Heroes were deployed just shortly after Hurricane Ian hit into all of the impacted areas. So we have 260 Hope Hero volunteers now. So if you didn't have enough volunteerism in your life and you want to do some more, let me know. We'd love to have you as a First Lady Hope Florida Initiative Hope Hero volunteer. And right now we're doing companion missions really to mitigate the impact of social isolation and loneliness that we know seniors feel each and every day. I've talked enough. I really want you to know and hear from our amazing statewide dementia director, Carrie Eyre. And like I said, when I thought of this position, when we proposed the legislation, she was always in my heart and on my mind. And I really believe I wrote it with her in mind. And this state is so lucky to have all of the work, all of the compassion, all of the care, and all of the heart that she has. We're grateful to have her leadership, and I really wouldn't want to do this without her guidance and leadership in everything that she does. And I'm so grateful for you, Carrie. Thank you. It's really not fair to make a person cry right before they have to stand in front of a group and talk about our work, but it really is an honor to be with you here tonight and see these incredible lights on our beautiful Capitol. I really see them as a symbol of hope. You know, Alzheimer's disease has been hard to talk about for years, and finally I feel like we have so much more hope on the horizon. So this evening, especially, these purple lights really have a place of hope for me, and I hope they do for you as well. So you heard Alex talk about the prevalence of Alzheimer's disease in Florida. 580,000 Floridians living with Alzheimer's disease, more than 1 million caregivers. And those numbers are kind of staggering, right? Kind of hard to conceptualize. So I want you to think about just one number. Think about 100%. Everybody. Alzheimer's disease touches everyone. If you're not a person living with Alzheimer's disease or dementia, or a caregiver for someone with dementia, then you know someone who is. Alzheimer's disease affects our friends, our neighbors, our coworkers, and family, and we are all in this. And I know you're here tonight because you know that too. Governor DeSantis also recognizes that, and we are so grateful for his leadership in making Alzheimer's disease and dementia a priority across our state. Secretary Branham noted some of the bold steps he's taken in his tenure to ensure that Florida is at the forefront of exciting new research findings, which I'm thrilled to say seem to be coming more rapidly all the time. But I'm especially grateful for the support that's extended to families who need the help right now. And that comes through our newest initiative, the Florida Alzheimer Center of Excellence. Secretary Branham mentioned that we have this program as the final step of the governor's 5-point dementia action plan. So we call it FACE, the Florida Alzheimer Center of Excellence, but it's rolling out in 3 phases. And this first layer places care navigators around the state to support caregivers in the regions where they live and work. These care navigators become a trusted touchstone for the families, someone to guide them as their loved ones' needs are changing and evolving, and to ensure that caregivers know how to access the resources that they need, like support groups and education offered through our colleagues at the Alzheimer's Association. The care navigators help families develop a strong care plan for the future and also help them connect to important clinical trials and diagnostic evaluations. They also serve as a source of emotional support when caregivers just need to speak to someone who truly understands. So that first phase of the program, the direct support for families, is up and running, And I'm pleased to tell you that we have a small team of care navigators who are providing that support right now. Yes! We're so excited. They are doing incredible work, and that program is going to continue to grow and serve more families as we do. And as that program then continues to develop, the second phase will include professional care settings and recognize those places that offer exceptional service and support to individuals who are in their care. And the third phase will reach health systems and research sites that adhere to the highest standards of clinical care. These additional layers of the PHACE program ensure that when family caregivers need to access professional support services, they reach the very best professionals in the field, because that is what all of our loved ones deserve. So I'm honored to help this program come to life, and I'm grateful to be here with you today to share our work with you, and I thank you for your voices in helping to make it possible.
First, thank you to Secretary Branham for your dedication and your passion for the most vulnerable in Florida. We really appreciate all you do for Brain Bus, everything. Thank you so much, Secretary. But also to thank Dementia Director Carrie Ayer. It was actually because of the advocates' efforts in 2020, the last time we were here, that we got the Dementia Director position created. So that just proves that coming here to Tallahassee, that good things can happen. We appreciate all you do, Carrie. Next, I'd like to introduce Suri Veliz. Suri is an amazing woman who is using her story and her voice to make a lasting impact. This is Suri's first time traveling to Tallahassee and advocating. She is joined here tonight by her 3 daughters, her mother, and her sister. Please welcome Suri.
All right, meet the guys. Okay, as kids, I bet none of you ever imagined being here in Tallahassee, fighting to keep our minds and our memories with the help of legislators. Yet here we are, fighting for our lives. My name is Suri Veliz. I am 55 years old, and I was diagnosed with a buildup of amyloids in my front and back lobe of my brain, the start of Alzheimer's disease. At around the age of 50, my 3 children, who were here with me this evening, were the first to notice how forgetful and repetitive I was getting. They would tell me about a school event that was planned weeks in advance, and I would be completely caught off guard the day of the event because I didn't remember. I would tell them a story, and they would say, "Mom, you already told me that story." It would break my heart because I knew something was very wrong. I could not control my forgetfulness. I also noticed changes in my cognition when I struggled to complete everyday tasks. For example, my husband would ask me to go to the bank to withdraw cash, and I stood in front of the ATM and I was completely clueless to the amount I was supposed to take out. I would always have to call him to ask again how much. One day, I even put the milk away in the microwave. After multiple situations occurred, I realized I was doing the same thing my father, Felix Sanchez, used to do. He would forget his tools at job sites or even forget to go to clients' work locations. He was diagnosed at 62 when he entered a study. Knowing that this disease ran in my family, most of my family members completed one of those popular DNA tests. My results were the same as my dad's. A slight increase of late onset Alzheimer's since one variant was detected. One day, scrolling through Facebook, I saw an ad looking for participants for an Alzheimer's study with a family history of the disease. Knowing how my dad was diagnosed while in the study, I mustered up the courage to fill out the questionnaire and was immediately contacted by the study coordinator the first thing next morning. After several tests, my worst fear was confirmed. I was officially diagnosed with Alzheimer's in September of 2020. Since being in the study, though, I have felt improvement in my abilities to complete simple tasks, remember phone numbers, even dates, and I haven't put the milk away in the microwave again. My daughters have also noticed that I have not been as forgetful nor as repetitive. I feel the study and the medication can save my life. These positive signs remind me of when my father was in his study. For 7 years, his memory was relatively stabilized. During the study, my father's symptoms did not improve, but they did not worsen either. That was until the end of the study, and he was no longer receiving the trial medication, where we noticed the decline in his memory went faster. He lived with Alzheimer's for a total of 17 years until he passed now in May of 2021. As an individual living with Alzheimer's as a caregiver and now as a patient myself, I am not only looking for a cure or treatment, I am also advocating for funding so others experiencing cognitive issues can get the support and the resources they need. It is critical that our communities understand the warning signs and break the stigma. This is why resources like the Brain Bus and our desire for statewide public awareness campaigns are critical. In my opinion, early detection is the key to battling this disease. My so-called late onset Alzheimer's started showing at 50 years old. I don't feel 50 is too late in life. Alzheimer's does not discriminate. Your sex, your race, your age, your IQ, it doesn't matter. Caregivers equally need this treatment or cure to come to fruition. It is hard for the caregivers and the patients, families to watch their loved ones revert to a childlike stage, forget everything they know and everyone they know, deteriorate and die. A possible treatment or a cure is too late for my dad and all the others that have gone before him, but their deaths cannot be in vain. I am hopeful that there is a treatment or a cure out there. I was empowered to stand here to speak to all of you, this time to come and beat this disease once and for all. Our stories need to be heard by the policymakers, those with the abilities to approve critical legislation and funding to provide resources to prioritize Alzheimer's disease. We must commit to funding research that drives new treatment, prevention, and one day a cure. We need to go and speak to them to fight for a cure. Pharmaceuticals and insurance companies too need to ensure treatments are affordable so that humanity does not lose another brilliant mind like my father. Author Jared Kintz couldn't have said it any better. Alzheimer is the cleverest thief because she not only steals from you, but she steals everything you need to remember what's been stolen. There is a cure out there. I know there is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. You're truly an inspiration. Thank you. We really appreciate coming out and speaking. Our next speaker is a proven champion for the cause. We are honored to have Representative Michelle Salzman here this evening. Last year, she sponsored the READY Act, which educates healthcare professionals on Alzheimer's. This upcoming session, we are honored to have her sponsoring our Brain Bus appropriation, as well as leading the charge to secure funding for the first ever statewide public awareness campaign on Alzheimer's. Without further ado, please welcome Representative Salzman.
I'm like you, Michelle. I'm going to lower this. So, first of all, I just want to say thank you to former Representative Scott Plakin for just believing in me and seeing that passion in me and asking me. It meant a lot to him, the legislation, and he said, I need you to promise me that you're going to carry this on and you're going to keep this in your heart. And I said, I'll do that. And so here I am. I'm actually super honored, and I've just gained some incredible friendships along this journey of advocating for elderly in Florida. I would like to mention, I know Representative Black is coming up here, but Representative Cheney, Representative Bartleman, Representative Escamani, thank you for being here and supporting the cause. Yes, you almost have a quorum. I'm just kidding. So I just want to thank you for inviting me here to speak with you all this evening. I always love being a part of the Purple Light ceremony. When I was explaining it to Representative Black, I said, It's small, but so impactful. Just whenever as the sun sets and it gets dark, I mean, you can see this for just blocks upon blocks. And I like the way that you said it's about hope, because it is about hope. It's a symbolism of hope, and we all need that. So it's wonderful to see. I mean, there are a lot more. This is the most I think we've had in a while. So I appreciate everyone being here this evening. And for you that are tuning in to us at home, I know you're with us in spirit. So I was asked to share a little bit about some things, and I just want to say, if you don't know my story and about me, every single woman in my family was diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia. My mom passed early, but she had the onset of Alzheimer's. So, I mean, it's just every single person. I remember as a child going to the nursing homes and singing and playing piano for my grandmas and my great-grandma, who was on the feeding tube, because she was just at that stage in the Alzheimer's world. So it's always stuck to me that it was so horrible. I will never forget the feeling of being lost. And then hearing my mom, you know, she would just cry for me. She'd say, "Where is my Michelle?" And I'm literally sitting right next to her. There are no words to describe that feeling in your heart. So I am honored. I'm really honored, truly honored to be here. I'm truly honored to be able to help navigate this process in the legislature. You know, we passed the READY Act. I would like to say that it was all me, but it was hardly me at all. It was really your secretary, Branham, who really the READY Act, ramping up for education in Alzheimer's and dementia. How cool is that? Like a cool name, a logo. Yes, and that was all her. She inspires me. You know, when she got secretary, she went all over the state to all of these places and said, "What can we do? I need to get ready for this. I need to see, practically speaking, how can I impact the life of the elderly, especially in the memory care." I remember when you came to Pensacola, it blew my mind. I just could not believe it. Usually people get a job like that and you never see them again, right? I see her all the time. She is the big, strong advocate. And you've got a great association here. It's not in my notes, but guys, y'all give him a round of applause. He's working hard. We know that he's fighting the good fight. So the legislation, the READY Act, required the Department of Health, through existing public health and community outreach, to just include information about brain health and early detection and diagnosis of Alzheimer's and related dementias. I'm happy to announce the READY implementation has already begun. The Department of Health released a brand new website featuring key resources in December of last year. Now they're in the second stage of implementation, where stakeholders are meeting to figure out the most effective way to get these critical resources and information in the hands of medical professionals. I'm thrilled this year, as already noted, to be sponsoring two major Alzheimer's appropriations. The first is building off of the momentum of the READY Act, and this would be a one-time appropriation to fund the first ever statewide public awareness campaign. That is so big. That is so big. This campaign would educate the general public in the warning signs of Alzheimer's, to seek cognitive assessments, availability of clinical trials, and discuss the importance of brain health, including risk reduction strategies. The earlier we detect, the better off our lives are. Not just our family members with the Alzheimer's and dementia, but also ourselves. You know, when we watch our family members go through this, it's just the most devastating thing. So if we can catch it early and we can do all that we can to maintain a good quality of life, then we're doing some good work. So the campaign would focus on those at higher risk of developing Alzheimer's, individuals over the age of 60, and those from diverse communities who are disproportionately affected by this disease. We need to break the stigma and ensure Floridians are discussing their cognitive health with their doctors. And I'm also excited to share, I will be sponsoring the Alzheimer's Association Brain Bus appropriation request this year. The mobile outreach program has been critical in providing information on the warning signs of Alzheimer's, the importance of brain health, including risk reduction strategies, and ensuring caregivers get the support and resources they need within their local communities. Last year, the Brain Bus program was able to hit all 67 counties in Florida. So in closing, I just want to thank all of you for being here today, for your advocacy, for your determination. We cannot do the work of the people without the people standing behind us. The secretary cannot do her work without the legislature standing behind her. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention our incredible governor and first lady, and just always empowering this initiative. You know, that really cool facility that we visited when we signed the READY Act, that is just, it's incredible. And to see people actually being able to utilize some of the resources that we're funding in the state is phenomenal. You'll be in our prayers. God bless you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Representative. We are so glad to have you on our side. Next, we are honored to have Representative Dean Black here this evening to discuss House Bill 299, the Florida Alzheimer's and Dementia Education and Training Act. This important bill will establish baseline dementia training standards for long-term care providers. Please welcome Representative Black.
Can I just take a moment and recognize some other of my colleagues who happen to be here in support? We have with us today Representative Susan Placencia and Rachel Claken.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And look, it's been said already tonight, but let me just say again, thank you, Secretary Branham, for your leadership. Representative Salzman, thank you so very much. You have put years of work and sacrifice into this, and I am pleased to be a co-sponsor, thanks to you, Representative Salzman, of House Bill 299. I want to thank each of you for being here. Look, I know that there's nothing good that happens to me at this hour of the evening by getting between you and dinner. And I have good news for you. I will be the night's final speaker, and I will be brief. Friends, this is an issue that is not just important to me, but personal. Commandment tells us, honor thy father and thy mother. We were all raised to respect our elders. Now, God, you know I have to be able to talk. And the base level training that our caregivers sometimes lack needs to be provided. I want to recognize someone else who's here tonight. She came all the way from Jacksonville, where I hail from. My mother, Lawana Black, is here. And tomorrow, come on up, Mom. Come up, Mom.
Yes, absolutely.
So my mother is here, but usually she's home. And there she was taking care of my father, who has been diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's. He's now in a memory care facility. And she'll go back tonight or in the morning. And we'll all make sure that we honor our elders, that we respect them. Mom, I love you.
Oh, we love you, Mom. Love you, Mom.
So, my friends, it's personal to me. You know, I'll tell you a really short story. One day, Mom called me. I was at work. I'm a businessman. I was busy. But Mom calls, you got to take the call, right? And she called, she says, honey, your dad, he's got to see you. Can we come see you? Well, of course. So he came, He made her stay in the lobby. And he came in. He said, son, it's bad. It's really, really bad. I was like, Dad, what's wrong? He said, son, look, I'm living in this big house. And I know it's really expensive. And son, I don't have the money for rent. And the rent's got to cost a lot. And so, son, I hate to ask you, but son, I need a job. My dad had been long retired as a fire chief at this point. He said, son, will you please hire me? So I told him, I said, Dad, I got some really good news. He said, please tell me, I need to hear it. I said, Dad, you own your house. You've owned it for a long time. And you don't have to have a job because you're retired. I pulled it up on the computer. I showed him how the money went into his account, that he had been a firefighter. And he was so excited. He said, thank you so much. You fixed it. He didn't have to come work for me. I'm here tonight to work for him. So are you, to work for your elders, to honor your mothers, your fathers. We honor them tonight. We will pass House Bill 299 when I see you tomorrow in the Capitol. Know that we do this to honor our mothers, to honor our fathers, to respect our elders, and to honor God Himself. Thank you. God bless you all. Have a great night. I promised I would be brief.
Thank you, Representative Black, for that very moving story. We appreciate your dedication to helping those in need. Thank you to all today's inspiring speakers, those sponsors and advocates. They're making Florida a better place for everyone impacted by Alzheimer's and other dementia. I hope each of us keeps the passion we feel right now for this cause burning. Keep that flame alight and let it guide us to do our very best for every Floridian. Thank you again for coming to this evening to the Purple Lighting Ceremony. Your voice matters in Tallahassee. It will be your personal connections that will help Florida be a leader in Alzheimer's policy. Thank you, and have a great evening. Thank you.